My brother is the one who turned me on to investing. And I've told a friend of mine, I'm pretty sure I was away somewhere, and however the idea came into their head, it came into his head about telling me about investing, which I'm pretty sure I was thinking about it at one point. But I'm also pretty sure that I was driving over the road at the time, and driving over the road, your mind's on a lot of different stuff. But anyway, thank you to my brother if you're watching this, because he was the first person to point me into the direction. And I'm going to do the exact same thing to y'all, except I'm going to give y'all all information I could possibly think of related to looking for what you're looking at, mindsets to look at investing into the stock market. I don't know it all, but I know a little bit of what I've learned. I have lost money, I have made money. One day in the future, I will make a video about my two or my top three biggest losses in the stock market. But that'll be a next year video, because this year we're past halfway and we're not through yet. So, that being said, this book right here, Strategic Stock Trading, is a great book. I wish I had found this book when I first got into it. I wish I had found this book when I was trying to figure out what was going on. And also, the stock market is not gambling. When you go to gamble, they don't let you see what their hand is. The house does not let you see what the hand is. The house doesn't let you see the cards that they're holding or your odds or any of that. But the stock market will let you see the cards that the companies are holding. So you can look at how a company is doing, how much they profit, whether they're making a profit. You can look at all of these things that make a company a good investment. It's just like if you like Chevrolet or you like Ford, you like whichever one. You may like Cadillac or Honda or Toyota. Whichever one you like it for whichever reasons. I like Chevrolet. I've had more Chevys in my life, and I can't remember a Chevy ever leaving me on the side of the road, not even once. Now, them other vehicles, them other makes and models, like, hey, I got stuck on the side of the road before. But anyway, to each his own, and I've owned almost some of everything. So, this book is a great pickup, and you can pick this book up on eBay for around $6 or $7. Nick, if you don't have a copy at your house, which I'm pretty sure I either sent you the red and blue book, that's a book about us, or I sent you this book. And if you don't have this book, I'll buy it and send it to you. So let me know, when you get off and all that kind of stuff. Uh, and like I said before, thanks to you guys that are checking out the content, checking out the channel. Appreciate that. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, this is a great book, definitely worth the read, and this book is 127 pages, front and back. Easy, quick read. The guy, he gets to the point. I said this earlier, but I'm gonna say it again. Whenever you're looking at information regarding the stock market, stay away from anything that is trying to tell you you're gonna make a lot of money. You've been a truck driver. You have applied for some company that said in big bold letters that you were going to make this much amount of money and you're going to make all kinds of money and you're going to make a lot of money. This is so good. Stay away from books that do that exact same thing. It's usually going to be a lot of junk in it. This book is simple and to the point. I think I've mentioned enough about this book. Um, I'll send it to you. I'll send you this in the mail. You gotta stop saying silent pauses. as we were saying, when it comes to this book, Nick, I'll send you this in the mail. And this is the book that I was talking about. It's the only book I could think of that when you go through it, anything that you're not sure about it, highlight it. The book that I made all my notes in, I actually gave to somebody. That way I would have to read it all over again and then go through and make my points and notations and stuff in it. Use this book is it's like a handbook. Hey, this makes good sense. One of the biggest things that kept me with this book was he talked about investing with your emotions. It's one of the worst things you could do because you can work yourself up to thinking that, hey, you know what, this is gonna happen, but that's not a plan. You can ask, you can say, you can hope, and you can pray, but your emotions, you can't plan with those. The stock market, you have to plan your way in, you have to plan your way out. We're gonna get to that, and I've talked to y'all enough about the book. I think we're clear on that. Let's move to the next thing. My stocks portfolio. Somewhere around the time I started taking the stock market more seriously, because I think 2014, 2015, somewhere around up in there is when my brother told me about it. It might have been a little bit before that. And he told me about it. I looked at it. Didn't really know what I was looking at, but kind of had an idea. But I also had an idea in the back of my head that wasn't fully formed, and I started working on that. So a little bit at a time, I started looking at stocks and saving them in this app. It's free. You can download it. It's a great, simple, to the point app. And I'm going to get to it, tell you guys why I like it. And Nick, this is the app that I was talking about. Toga, oh yeah, tons of people telling lots of stories about investing, stock, exchange, markets, etc. But we all know that these areas ain't gamble. Those people don't even have experience, just stories. Toga, yep. And most people who never looked at the stock market or never put time into investing in it, when I got to the point to where I said, okay, I'm going to really take this seriously, and I'm going to really make a conservative, planned effort to see if I can get something out of this in a positive way. I had one idea. Hold on a second. I had one idea. Ignore this ad stuff down here on the bottom. It's just all of them gonna have something scrolling in the screen, so I'm just telling you guys now. But I had an idea, and I got my idea from the bank. Nowadays, the bank gives you what percentage on your money? They give you 2%, 3%, something ridiculous. But then if you want to borrow some money, last time, man, I went to the bank, this thing said, it was around Christmas last year or whatever it was. Might have been before I left last year. 11% on your early Christmas planned loan. Man, you're going to borrow some money so you can go buy some stuff for Christmas. I'm like, y'all charging people 11%, and it was on like $1,000. Then if you wanted to borrow $2,500, it was 13%. I got a picture of this on my hard drive somewhere. I'm like, man, these people done lost their mind. All right, anyway, I've gotten that out of my system. But the idea that I got from the bank was, hey, if the bank only gives you, which I don't know what it is now, 1% on your checking account. You got some other accounts that are, 3 and 4% interest per month. Well, you have to have a lot in there to get that percentage per month. Plus, you have to pay your banking fees. If I forget, one of you guys mentioned in the comments about fees. We're gonna talk about that too. So when it comes to my philosophy is 5%. My goal is to try and get 5% out of the market as many times as I can every year. It's been some years, it's been one time. I think during my owner operator days, I was hardly ever in the market at all. I think that 2 year span, I don't think I did anything during that time because I was so focused on making the money back, going places that I hadn't been, making sure that I was keeping track of paperwork, receipts, being ready to pay my taxes because I did all of my own accounting. The only thing I didn't do my own taxes, but I had everything ready, so all they had to do was just add it up and then put it out. Matter of fact, I take that back. They didn't even have to add it up. Add it up. They just had to submit the paperwork, make sure that everything looked right. But I had already organized all my stuff for them. Anyway, make sure I don't go rambling on. When it comes to the stock market, I'm gonna give you guys an example. You see this stock right here? It's called BT Energy. Now, if you're looking at this on your phone, you may have to turn your phone sideways. But BT Energy, which is that one. BT Energy is currently at $2.23. I bought BTE Energy some years ago. I think I bought and sold it more than once. What I like about this app, we don't want to look at one day. What I do is anytime, I'm going to show you some other resources, but we're just going to talk about this app right now. Anytime I hear about a stock, somebody tells me about something they heard, I come here and I look it up. Now, when you get this app, it's going to have, scroll back up to the top, it's going to have at least all of this down to, I think Planeteer. So I think AMD will be on here, NVIDIA, Google, Oracle, and Amazon. I think Apple will be on here when you first get it. It'll have 10 stocks or so on here. I keep an eye on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the NASDAQ Composite, and the S&P 500. As you currently see, it's down. But watch, one of two things is going to happen after we come back from Labor Day or Memorial Day, whichever one of these days is Monday. One of two things is going to happen. Market's going to go down or it's going to go up from here where it's at. I like this app because it gives me the option to, let's say I want to add a stock. You can add it in here, like where it says track transaction. Let's VEST. OTC, over-the-counter markets. All these other markets, Copenhagen, I think is Switzerland. Xterra, if it says New York Stock Exchange, yeah, that's what we're looking for. If it says OTC markets, yes, that's what we're looking for. Anything that's in America. I have invested in companies that are non-American companies like BP, a couple others, but mostly I stick to American stuff, or anything that has a market cap over $1 billion. That's just my philosophy. If the company has a market cap over $1 billion, let's look at VEST. Garbage. Ignore that. We're going to have to find another one. And if I can't find no information on it, it's garbage. I'm not saving it. I'm not even looking at it. But anyway, where this little plus sign is over here on the top right, that's where you're going to add your stock that you're looking for. We're going to use BTE, and there they are. BTE Energy. And remember, this app is free. You're not actually spending any money with it. All you're doing is just watching stuff. That's all you're doing. You're just looking at stuff. And looking at stuff is free. And it's got Forex, cash, unlisted. I always stay over here on the market side. Now I want to make a transaction. I want to say that I bought this stock at most of the time I don't read a bunch of this stuff that's on here. Scroll down to the bottom where I got BTE saved at. Because what I want to see, what I want to show you guys. See over here where it says market cap $1.7 billion. Go over here to details. What details does it have? Like I said, this is just a free app. I just came across this when I did back then, and I've been using it as my first line of looking at something. Now, I've bought and sold this stock probably twice, but this is how I do it. I look at all of these, 5 days, 1 month, and what I'm looking for, you see these spikes, the ups and downs. You can make money going both ways. Not just up, you can make money going down. Now, to me, when I see this stuff, this tells me people are making money off of this. Now, for those of you that are watching this, whether you're a Trump supporter or Democrat or Republican, these are people making money when you see this stuff. That's what all of this is, up and down through the market. The market is volatile. It's one of the best times you can make money, especially to make it quick and then repeat it. But also, you have to keep in mind that you're putting money in. And if something crazy comes along, a reversal right here, which this was 1 month, so this was August the 23rd. Click on that. Now I want to zoom in. I'm going to show you why. Okay, I want to look at when this started, the time, and how long it took. Because what I want to see is if it's 1 day, a 1 day rise in the market, or was this a slow rise in the market over time? And zoom back out. And like I said before, I look at all three. Move that out the way. So y'all can see that it gives you 1 day, 5 days, 1 month, 3 months. The reason this is important, see how this is trending up. So anytime up in here you can make money, get out of it, make money, get out of it, make money, get out of it. And if all you're trying to get is 5%, that's easy. You can slip and fall on 5%. Denmark. Thank you, Toga. Denmark. I knew it was somewhere over there. Now let's look at 6 months. Well, would you look at that? After that fall, after that, what was that? Late March, early May. I knew back then that when that market fell like that, okay, I just kept waiting. Went into the market, came out of it. After that, okay, I had 2 more things I was looking at. I think I went into the market somewhere around here, but then I got out before it reached its peak. And I'm not talking about this stock. I'm talking about some other stocks, but the same thing is a philosophy either way. So in the triangle form now seems like preparing for a correction. Exactly. Toga makes a great point. If you look in the comments, you have to keep corrections in mind. And you have to also think about what time of year it is. The different quarters. Quarter information comes out and markets go up and down. Bad news overseas, market can go up and down. The thing is, find your pattern, find your plan, and stick with your plan, but keep your plan small, short, and to the point. Don't jump off in here, man, I'm going to put all this money into the market, and don't do that. I'm going to tell you why. There's a meme video on the internet somewhere. Well, this guy was walking down the street and had a bag of chips, a drink, and something else in his hand. He was walking by this garage door, which was open at the bottom. He dropped a bag of chips and it fell up underneath it. And then 2 bags of chips came out. He's looking around like, did anybody see that? He picked up the 2 bag of chips, then he threw something else up underneath there. And 2 of it came out. Then he was like, oh, okay. So he put 3 things up underneath there. And 3 things came out. At this point, he like, okay. He put everything he had up underneath there. I think he put his chain, his watch, his wallet. He put everything up underneath there. In that little garage door opening. And nothing came back out. I think he put his shirt up in there and everything, his shoes, everything he had. And nothing came back out. The market will do you the exact same way. And the reason I remember that is because I saw this at one of the lowest points in like the past few years, man. Like, I was down bad. I only told a couple of people. Like, I had done really good in the market about 2 or 3 times earlier that year. And I was planning to go somewhere, to take a trip somewhere. And I'm like, man, you know what? If I could just, in my head, if I can get 18 grand out the market, I'm like, yeah, that'll send me off on a trip and everything. I'm gonna find that video that I was telling y'all about. I don't know what the name of it is, but I'm gonna find that video. I was like, man, if I can get 18 grand, because at the time I had made from the market, and this was not short. It took some months. It was 8 grand. It was 8 grand the first time, and it was 5 grand the second time. And at this point, I'm like, well, we were already into July, and an opportunity for me to get half of the 18,000 that I wanted to get came along. But instead of me sticking with my plan, I said, you know what? I'm gonna ride it out and see. And you know what? It ought to go up higher, instead of just taking your wins when you get your wins. The market gonna be there tomorrow. When you get your win, when you get what you're trying to get out of it, get away from it. Leave it alone. Take a break. Go do something. Don't think about it. Go find you something else to do in the meantime. But to each his own, because there's so many different ways where you can utilize plans, ideas. For example, an idea that I want to give any of you guys that's thinking about investing. Let's get off of the BTE stuff. But my stocks portfolio, look at it by the month, look at it by the 6 months, look at it year to date, look at it by the year, look at it by 2 years, look at it by 5 years. I wanted to get away from that because I would have just kept rambling on for a minute. But anyway, always look at it to its max. You see this stuff? This tells me that, okay, none of this stuff from this 06 to 2015, you ain't never seen it again. It ain't never going up to that. What this stock is going to do is give you your 5% that you can get out of it. And look at that. So for a stock that is $2.25 and you have $1,000 to invest, you put $1,000 into it, and all you want is 5% of that. Let's say you wanted to go to McDonald's and buy you a value meal, $25, $20 or whatever. So with that $1,000, you just want to make 5%. That's it. And then the next time you want to go buy something, You go to the stock market and you get that money out of there. Take your $1,000, invest it, look to make your 5%. Make that 5% of $1,000 is going to be $50. You take $25 of that, you leave the other 25 in, and then you go buy something, go buy you something to eat with that $25. After you've done this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 times, then you take 5,000. You repeat the exact same thing. You go and get 5% out of the market. $50, 5%, $1,000. Yeah. You do the exact same thing that you were just doing. You just slowly add more. That way, you're not trying to win the lottery here. You're just trying to invest your money and turn your money around. That's one of the best things I can say to anybody. I don't know about options. All I know is to look for my 5%. I look for my 5% all over the place. I look for my 5% in the first stuff that I learned about, which was the oil and gas industry. I want to tell you guys some more about this app, but there are plenty of other apps, and I'm going to show you a whole lot more stuff, and we're going to get to all of that. Like I said, this app is free, and you can add as many stocks on here as you want. I would advise anybody to watch your stocks over the course of a long period of time. At least 6 months, a year. Watch stocks that you've been looking at, that you've heard about. I got into a lot of oil and gas stuff because oil and gas stuff tends to be volatile. And when it's volatile, you got an opportunity for some big movements in it. And the big movements can be in your favor or out of your favor. Just make sure you can handle them both ways. Let me check the comments real quick. You're trying to buy extra house from the market. We ain't selling the house to bidding. Toga, and exactly. I didn't take a picture of it, but there's a purchase and a plan. There's something that I'm looking at that I'm working on, and my goal is to get that money out of the market and then purchase that with that. And I'm trying to think. My white truck, that's how I bought my white truck. I was investing in the market, so this was about 3 or 4 months, and I was looking at trucks and stuff on Facebook Marketplace, and I was going to auctions to get ready, so that once I got my return out of the market, okay, this is the vehicle that I'm going to buy, and that's how I got my white pickup truck. That's what bought my white pickup truck. The stock market. I didn't spend a dime on it. So think about that. The stock market can pay for things just like anything else. What you invest in and what you make off of it is buying power. You can buy stuff with it. You make good investments that pay off, even if it takes some time, even if it takes months, weeks, years. It's free money. The bank is only going to give you so much, but what you're investing in can go way, way further. Anyway, I think I've covered this right here enough. Get rid of that. This is my stocks portfolio. And like I said, it's simple, it's to the point. There's other things that are out there, but I like that this is simple and it's not clunky, but it's not so basic to where I feel like it's not like Robinhood. I think Robinhood is the one I checked out for a little while. You know, its interface is okay, but you know they could definitely do a lot more. But anyway, let's stay on task. Let's go back. My stocks portfolio. But that was what I wanted to show y'all about that. You've got Robinhood, you've got Acorn, crypto. If you're into crypto, I have not gotten into that because I got enough to do. Like crypto can come some other time. Investing.com, stock market, E-Trade, Fidelity. So you're gonna have to open up a brokerage account. Probably should have led off with that first. I should have wrote all this stuff down. But these different apps and companies, some of these companies don't have an app. Some of them, they just have a website. So you go and you look. You can go on your phone, type in investing apps. I would tell you to look for whichever one has the highest rating and the most number of downloads. Whenever I'm looking at anything on here, that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking for the most and the most. Quite a few guys told me about Coinbase once I went overseas. A lot of them told me about Coinbase. But I couldn't make a Coinbase account overseas because they wouldn't accept my information, which is all good. I'm like, okay, if it's that much of a roadblock, it just may not be meant for me to mess with that. But anyway, we are done with this. Let's get rid of that. All right. We're back on Baytex Energy. This is stockanalysis.com. On this website, you can do some of the same things, but it also gives you more options. So let's say you're seriously thinking about BTE. Hey, you can always just save it and check it out whenever you want to check it out. Let's look at their financials, because there's actually something I'm looking at that made me save them, because I had an idea about something. But you can get the upgraded account if you want to. For now, just ride with that free stuff. If it's free and it lets you see something, ride with it. Profit margin. $20.20. We're going to go back to my stocks portfolio in a minute, because 2020 is a very special year. Forecast. Now, you see this graph right here? It says stock price forecast. Price within a 12-month period. One analyst with a 12-month price forecast for Baytex Energy stock has a target of $5.50, which predicts a 146.64% increase from the current stock price of $2.25. When I look at this, really? Is that so? I come back over here to get back down there. Come over here to BT Energy, and I start looking at 5 year. 5 years, that stock hasn't been $5. And in the past 2 years, it's been over $4, and it's been on its way down. Let's look at it at the max. There definitely ain't gonna be no reversal till it going all the way back there. So that's not happening. So that $5, let's say it's just $5.25. Your investment that you had to sit on for however many number of months or a year if you're playing a long game. So 2 years span, that stock hasn't even reached $5 within 2 years. Let's say 1 year. 1 year, that stock hasn't reached. That stock hasn't reached 1 year. Yeah. 1 year, that stock hasn't reached $4. So I always use that my stocks portfolio to look at whatever I'm looking at because that's what I'm used to. And I come back over here and like, where does he just make this up from? What information does he got that nobody else has that makes him think that? Or are they just being bullish? Are they just saying that? Now, when it comes to stockanalysis.com, you see this thing where it says strong buy, hold, sell, strong sell, total. Of all of these tabs that I got open, which are resources for information about the stock market, I look and see what all of them say. And I take all that information and then I build a plan off of that. I look on here. I look on the next stock analysis website I'm going to tell you guys about and show it to you. Because whoever these people are who are saying, okay, within 1 year it's going to be $5, that's fine. Because if it goes up to $5, that means within the next year, I've got how many opportunities to make my 5%. Look at it. Multiple opportunities to make 5% within the year. And you may want to aim for 10%. I would say if you're just starting out, just start out with 2 or 3%. You're going to invest and you're going to look to get your money out at 2 to 3%. And you can also work a long distance plan and a short distance plan. Short distance plan for, some money you're going to spend today on something or tomorrow or next week. And your long distance plan for your retirement, for a house, a car. Toga says, we are trying to buy extra house from market. We ain't selling a house to bet in. Buying the same stocks with their dividends is also great tactic, actually, for long-term investors. It creates a huge leverage effect in max 4 or 5 years. Patience and consistency are the key points. Man, you said a mouthful right there. Patience and consistency. Man, that's a mouthful right there. Because I've been in that exact same situation. I've gotten impatient and could have made more. I've gotten impatient and lost more. Consistency, consistency, consistency. That's why I say to anybody, whatever you're going to do in the market, make sure that you're watching what you're doing. The market is just like it's just like people that become professional at anything. It doesn't just turn over overnight. Whether it's sports, career, it took time. For all the CDL truck drivers, they didn't just give you a license and you became great. It took time. Anyway, talking about this graph multiple times to get that 5%. And actually, to be honest with you, the low was $1.60. Let's look at 6 months. So if you're going either way, so there was opportunities to get way more than that. The reason I stick with the lower stocks is my math is with $1 billion market cap, companies tend to be somewhat successful to get to that size. And the 5%, you can easily get that 5% of $2. And then it's a matter of a lot of shares, the more money you can make. Versus if you went and bought some NVIDIA and you spent $1,000 on NVIDIA and NVIDIA went up 5%, you're not really going to get that much of a return. But to each his own. However you add it up, Like I said, I don't know it all, but one thing I do know, I've got something that's been working, and I'm going to keep working it. But anyway, stock analysis is a good one. You can look at it and check out the information that they got. Anything that you don't know, just look up the term. Whatever the term is, period ending, revenue growth, EPS growth, forward looking PE. Just look it up. That's how I learned. I didn't know what something was. I didn't know what something meant. I went and looked it up. I went and read more stuff. If I tried something and it didn't work out, I went to go find out or search the idea that I had to see how I could fix it. But anyway, that's stockanalysis.com. And this right here is Market Watch. Market Watch has a stock screener. And they're going to have ads on it. They all going to have ads on it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, Market Watch is another one. Most of this information is going to be redundant because the next company or the next place is going to have the exact same information. So choose whichever it is that you feel most comfortable with. And also, if your company already has a retirement account with Charles Schwab, that means that you have an account. If you have a 401k or whatever retirement fund that your company has, if they have it for you in your name, a 401k, then that's your account at Charles Schwab. Now, what all you can do while your 401k is within the ownership of the company while you work there, that I don't know. But I know once you're no longer working there, they send you that information leaflet in the mail, and to tell you how much you have in your 401k, the name of the company, how many shares or whatever it is. If you want to start your own investing, long-term investing, or make your own 401k, look at what your company that you work for is already invested in that 401k. Look inside that fund and just make you a retirement fund with the exact same stuff in it. And if you guys can hear me good, leave a thumbs up or something. If you can't, just let me know. But anyway, Market Watch. That's another one you can explore, Market Watch. I would say find whichever one fits you the best and whichever one gives you the best of options and maneuverability. Because there's been a couple of times where I had to quickly look something up because it was Friday or the market was getting ready to close, and I was trying to make a decision on going into the market. But what I was looking at, I wasn't sure if the time was right, but I needed to look at some things before I committed to invest that money. And for me, when like friends or family be like, "Hey, you got money?" No, I don't. I got my money somewhere, and I try to keep my money somewhere. I've got a Toga, since I've been doing my own thing, I haven't gotten into mutual funds, and I don't have an excuse. I really don't. And ETFs either. I've looked at them, but not really, because my yearly average is beating what they're offering. Because I was looking at mutual funds and I was looking at their rate of return, and I was asking myself, can you beat that? Like, can I beat that rate of return? How would I beat that rate of return? What would I need to beat that rate of return? What all would I have to do within a year to beat that rate of return? Anytime I look at ETFs, mutual funds, I look what their rate of return is. And my goal is to beat that. because it first started out with just 1%. Okay, I started beating 1%. First, I started matching 1%. Okay, I kept matching 1%. All right, let me see if I can get 2.5. I started matching 3%. So I started having a 3% return on my money. And then that went on for a little while. Okay, let's try 5. Now at this point, like, okay, this, it can be done. You can retire with the stock market. You're just gonna have to realize, one, you either need to have a lot of money in the first place, or two, you need to have some time invested into this and some nerves of steel and patience, a plan and commitment. Point blank. And you also need information and wisdom. So any information that you can get or glean from something, utilize it. Just always be careful. Sometimes stuff has some poison in it, and nobody will tell you. It's just like when you hear somebody say that the stock market is gambling. There's some poison in that statement. I know what they mean. I know what they're talking about, but there's some poison in that statement, and some of that is just discouragement. But anyway, Market Watch, that's another one. You can watch stuff and look at it from different times. It's got a lot of good information on it. It's a bit too much stuff going on this screen for Market Watch and stock analysis. Nasdaq is another good one. Now, I've talked to other people who use different things, and they use different things for this reason. Whichever company you choose to hold your brokerage account in, make sure they give you quite a bit of options. Make sure they have a good track record. The company you're working for or working at, a relative that has a retirement fund somewhere. Hey, what company holds that? Are they working out for you? You don't have to ask none of their personal stuff if you don't want to. That's up to you. But anyway, find you 10 stocks that you went looked at, you put some time into, and you put some thought into. My personal philosophy is that I stick to stuff under $5. And really, to be honest with you, anything under $3, $2 or $3, that has the highest market cap available and a pretty decent track record. I don't want nothing where they're going to fold overnight. I don't want nothing where they're not having some kind of growth. The company's not making money. I don't want none of that stuff. See, because I went through that with Weatherford. That was one lesson I will never forget. And Weatherford had been around and is still around now. But they also filed bankruptcy. So you let that sink in. All right. We talked about NASDAQ. Let's talk about I don't know how I came across this website, but this website is awesome. This website allowed me to think more broadly because it's a lot of stuff we just don't know. For example, categories. This is called Companies Market Cap. And I don't remember how I found this website, but it is awesome. Ranked by categories. Click on categories and then look at that. Automakers, airlines, airports, aircraft manufacturers, banks, hotels, pharmaceuticals, railways, insurance, financial services, tobacco, software, professional services, AI, tech, telecommunications, retail, and whichever one you click on. I'm already on oil and gas. Because what got me to this website, there's another website called, it's about penny stocks and stuff. And I read it, went through the website a couple of times. But there's some gems on that penny stock website. You just have to comb through all the trash to get to them or to come across them. That stuff takes time. And when it's just one person, unless Chat GPT or something else is going to do it for me, I got to do it myself. Anyway, I think this is the out of 415 companies. I think this is the highest market cap to lowest market cap in price. I found gems on this website just by clicking through some of the preferences, looking at their track record, and then saving them and watching them later. And this is a tablet that I'm on. I bought this tablet specifically for investing. That's all I really bought this thing for. So I don't really do much with it other than when I'm researching something and I want a bigger size screen so that I can look at it more comfortably, move between things faster, and see more of it. Because my TV is too big and trying to watch stuff on it, your eyes have to go further back and forth. But on the tablet, everything's a nice size. I can easily go between different tabs. And on my off time, when I'm not working or whatever, dude, I'll spend a day on here. I go outside, go do something, man. I come back on here and start back looking again because I'm looking for my opportunities. I'm looking for my opportunities. I don't need to win the lottery. I just need the plan that I put in motion to return what I'm looking to get out of it. And you can do the exact same thing. All right, that's and like I said, get the heck out of here. Categories. Transportation. Transportation. I know railway is on here. Automakers are on here. Ports, tobacco, but transportation isn't really a category. It is, but it isn't. Anyway, courier services. No. Courier service would be exactly UPS, DHL, so on and so forth. Hmm. Interesting. But anyway, I'll click on price, see whatever the cheapest is. Then I'll come over here to country, and I'll usually keep going until I see the first American company, which is FedEx, $231. No, not gonna mess with that. They're a good long-term investment. Anything that's a staple, it's a good long-term investment. Let's come back down to dividend.com. I like this website because it will let you look up a lot of different things when it comes to dividend returns. I do the exact same thing. Any information I get on here, I run through. I run through all these other. Hold on a minute. I run it through all of these other stock information viewers. Every single one. Anything that I'm serious about, I go try to find some information to destroy it. Okay, like is this some trash I'm looking at? And I go look to verify that it is trash. And if it turns out not to be, awesome. We got something I can add to my stocks portfolio list. But as I'm looking for a shooting gun here, if I can't come across one, and I mean I'll look one over for a couple hours, uh, put it in the list or save it in the list to the website. And then once I get more information on it, okay, this is worth keeping an eye on. Just like BT Energy. There was two more I used to keep an eye on, but they got too unreliable. But there's a lot of information on here, especially if you want to see what dividends are year to date total return, but it also lets you filter some stuff. Because 2-3 months ago, I was looking at, I think it's a Brazilian oil company, and I wanted to invest something in it, but I wanted to see their dividend return. Had they paid their dividend return and what their dividend on return is broken down into. So let's say they pay out 9%, but the 9% hasn't been paid out only twice within the past 5 years. You have to know all of that stuff, have an idea about all that stuff before you get into investing your money in something. So make sure you understand dividends, how they work. For example, a great dividend is Chevron, and they're both on here. Chevron, CHE. Yeah, okay, BP is one because BP is paid out consistently every single time. Ex-dividend date, I missed that one already. But 5.65%. So you would get $2. You would incur $2 on one share of $35. So you would make $2 just for holding the stock. I think it's on the ex-dividend date, which is August the 15th. I think as long as you hold it that August the 15th date. But hey, August the 15th. Let's look at August the 15th. Where's the market at August the 15th? Right there, August the 15th. So the market went down, and it'll usually do this. The market will go down and up during that dividend period because there are people who just purchase that stock just to do that. So keep that stuff in mind. There's a lot of stuff to learn about the stock market, and then you have to try to remember and retain as much of it as you possibly can. Toga says down there in the comments they have tax advantage here in Turkey, included dividends if they pay. That's why I choose them. Otherwise, I'm doing better than most of them with enough attention. How is the tax process out there if you're going to invest on foreign company stock? As far as the United States is concerned, just pay your taxes. Pay your taxes. But now on your retirement, you're not taxed on the money that you grow in it until you take it out. I don't remember the 401k stuff right now, but most retirement plans are like that. They're intent for there to be there for you to retire, not for you to take money off of it. Otherwise, you're going to get hit with that tax penalty of 30% and then get 70% of whatever it was. But in the United States, Toga, just make sure you pay your taxes. I could just make sure you pay your taxes because they ain't playing over here. Anyway, getting back to dividends, BP, which is British Petroleum, I have bought and sold that stock a lot of times. Where is ExxonMobil? ExxonMobil is the other one. Their dividend is 3.49%, which will give you $3.96 per share if you ex-dividend date August the 15th. That's the thing about the ex-dividend date stuff. You kind of have to be on top of it. You have to be paying attention to it, or have it planned, or have an automated system that'll do it for you. I don't have any of that automated system stuff. If some of you guys know of any, let me know. Facts over. It's the same way. It's the same way here as well. We can't run away from two things in this life, planet-wise: death and taxes. Facts. All right, let's get back to where we were at. But I came across this website maybe a year ago. I haven't really looked on it that much. But this one, this company, market cap, this right here is my best friend to come across new stuff that I hadn't seen. Or if I have an idea about something, I'll usually bring it here and then see what companies are competing in the same category, in the same field. I think that's about it. We talked about all of that. I talked about the book. The main thing is you're investing your money. Make your money work for you. Make your money work for you. Make your money work for you. If your banking account or your checking account, all of you, whoever's watching this, go look and see whatever percentage they're giving you. You take $1,000, $500, or $100, and you go out there into this marketplace of successful companies and you try to double it. You're not gambling because you can see the company's hand that you're about to invest into. Everybody wish they had invested into Bitcoin. Everybody wish they had invested into Doge. Personally, since we're talking about that Doge stuff, Doge is on here. Now, I will say this. If you ever see my video to the white guy that was in orientation with me, I'm trying to think where he told me about this this XRP stuff. I started working there in February of 2020, 2023. He told me about this. Let me find it. What was it? I think it was XRP. He told me about XRP, but I didn't know what he was talking about. 1 year, 2 years. I started working there in February. In February of that stuff was 40 cents. I think it was XRP, but don't quote me on that. But it was something that it was like 25 cents or whatever it was at the time. But it could have easily been one of these. But I know it was somewhere in late February, early March, because I started actual work in March. This white dude told me about this. I was like, okay, kind of went and looked at it, but didn't really think about it. I was more focused on my orientation stuff. But then Trump came into office. Now, if you got money to invest, like let's say if you had 10 grand to invest and you invested it when it was somewhere up in here in that 50-cent range. Ooh, boy. I'll tell you another one. This Doge stuff. I'm going to tell y'all this secret, and it ain't a secret. I just noticed it. And if something changes because I'm saying it on the internet and the internet hears me so well, oh well. When it comes to Doge and Tesla, if you see Elon Musk on TV dancing, watch the market. It sounds stupid. It really does. But anytime that guy has ever came on TV advertising something, talking about whatever he's got going on, and you see him dancing, the market, like his stock market stuff goes up. Trump is the same way. Anytime you see Trump come on TV and he starts talking and he keeps going, he's telling people something. It's just a matter of looking at what's going on. Now step to the side and look at an angle, because there's an angle being played. Just put yourself in a good position where you could take advantage. I got a homeboy that might be watching this right now. He talks about Trump and politics a lot, and I've told him the same thing over and over. Don't focus on that stuff. Step to the side and look at an angle, because they're playing one. Every time Trump comes on TV saying something, the market goes up and it goes down. It goes up and it goes down. And you can come on here and almost date it and see it. Go back to the top. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. Every time Trump has came on there saying something, or something happening in the world somewhere, that market's been going up and down. That dude's been making some people some money. But they ain't saying nothing. But I've been watching this since he got in the office the first time. Started watching every time he would come on TV and say something, watch the stock market. Every time he would do something, watch the stock market. He goes to another country to go talk to him about whatever, watch the stock market. He starts talking about tariffs, watch the stock market. After you've done that about 5-6 times, you start seeing the pattern. Like, okay, that's why every time he come on TV, I don't even want to know what he's talking about. I'll just look, give it about 30 seconds. Okay. Then I go look at the market. He said, and I've been doing that since the first time he was in office, and I'm doing it now. Biden was a bit more tricky because the stock market was more stable. That's not the word I want to use. Those ups and downs were more difficult to see. But with Trump, he's telling you on national TV in front of everybody, and he's been telling people, hey, here's where the money is. So you may not like him. You may not be a fan of him or whatever. But he ain't like them normal political people. He do some stuff and be just, you come across it and the normal political people wouldn't say it, so you wouldn't hear it, and you wouldn't be able to tie the strings together. Trump is out there making people some money. So put yourself in a position, and I don't support Trump or anybody else. So just put yourself in a position where you can get some of that money on trees. Anyway, guys, I think we about killed it. I hope that information helped you. I was going to make this into a video, and I may still do that, and then cut it so it's a lot shorter and it's less me rambling on and me just sticking to the point. But I had to at least get it out while it's all in my head, and I can go back and look at this and watch it again and see how I can make this better. Appreciate that, Toga. Thank you to Toga, Nick, Ghost Town, and any and everybody else that has came through. Shout out to all of y'all. Hope this information has helped you some. If you like this information, hit the like, subscribe, share out the live, and I think really that's it. Don't forget about the seasons. As the season comes around, there's different categories is not the word that I'm looking for. Genres is not the word that I'm looking for. There's different fields for different seasons, for different times of the year. Just like Halloween season, Thanksgiving season. They already got candy at the Dollar Generals and stuff back at the beginning of August, getting ready for Halloween. So there's seasons for some of everything. Make sure you understand them. Make sure you know when you get into the market. Okay, quarterly earnings reports are coming out here, 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 and here. If you don't know what quarterly earnings reports are, type it in. When do quarterly earnings get released? Did OPEC? When is OPEC planning to have their production meetings? Whether they're going to cut production or they're going to boost production? All that stuff is important. If Russia bombs Dubai, that market's going to do something. So keep that stuff in mind. Any major kind of thing that could go on. A hurricane hitting the south, stuff's gonna happen. That market's gonna move. So for any and everybody that might see this, how long is this video? Damn, I've been talking an hour and a half. But I've got another video, which probably be seeing it next year or so, talking about my losses, how they happened, what I did, and what I learned from them. Today we're just talking about information that I've come across, and all of this stuff is in my money tab. Just like I got stuff in my property tab, land and all that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind. You guys be safe. That's about all I got, man. If you think of anything else, you are more than welcome to throw it out here. My personal experience when it comes to the investing is I've had ups and downs. I'll get into it more when that time comes, but I'm working on some stuff this year. But for the most part, I can definitely say that I've had ups and downs. And I mean I've lost my own money. And I'm not talking about no $100. I'm not talking about no $1,000 either. But I've had ups too. I've had swings in both directions. And I wish I'd have learned more before I started. But there's two things I want to leave you guys with. You're going to hear somebody say, go big or go home. That statement has a small amount of truth to it when it comes to the stock market. And that small amount of truth is you gotta have big to do it. And if you ain't got it, then you gotta work with what you got. So I gotta work with what I got. Go big or go home. The other one is it takes money to make money. That is one of the most underrated statements and unutilized perspectives of thinking when it comes to investing. It takes money to make money. And you'll see it as you start investing, as you start putting money into your brokerage, your Roth IRA, your 401k. Also, when you're looking for a brokerage company to hold your account that you're going to use for investing, decide whether you want to day trade, weekly trade, monthly trade. It can be either or. I have sat on, dude, my sister told me about this this company that they were starting to make electric cars. I don't remember what the name of it is. What is the name? What is it? What is the name of these people? I don't think I have it in here anymore. But my sister told me about this. It's not in here. Hold on a minute. Oh, crap. I don't. Maybe it was NOI. NOI. No, that's not it. NIO. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. I think it was NIO. NIO profile. NIO is a pioneer in China's premium smart electric vehicle. That's it. These people right here. NIO. My sister told me about this company. Like, everybody got laid off in 2020, and she told me about this company. So 2020, if I remember correctly, I made some money off of this company because it was around this time. Hold on a minute. We got laid off. We got laid off in May or June, somewhere, because the season had started changing. I think it was mud season. So it was, the ground was thawing out in the daytime and freezing back over at night, I think. So it was around May, June, somewhere up in that time. Anyway, this stock was like $6. I bought some of this stock and I sold this stock later that year because they went from there to, I think when I sold it, it's around $18. So just off somebody telling me about a stock, I went and looked it up, looked at the information, looked at how much they were valued at. And when I talk about those peaks and valleys, the ups and downs, there's always an opportunity to make money. Everything isn't gonna do this where it just goes up and up and up and up and up. And some stuff you're gonna have to ride it back down. But now, if you take the time and look at this, like, there's opportunities to make money. But man, if you jumped in here on one of these highs, boy, that's tough. I'm just being real with you, because let's say somebody bought this in October of 2023 at $7 a share, saying to themselves that, hey, it's gonna go back up to $17, $19, $20. And it's still sitting at $6.38. There's a good chance it ain't never getting that high again. Anytime you see any of this kind of stuff, there's a good chance it ain't never going back to that 2020, 2021. Do not look at the stock market as gambling. Do not. Look at it with a plan and a purpose. Execute your plan. Get out. Whether your plan is a day, a week, a month, or a year, or 2 years. I have sat on stock for over a year just to get a return back, and then never invested in that ever again. I've gotten into some stocks where I had to eat my damn loss like a man. NIO. It wasn't bad for a little while. It was not bad. Tellurium. And anytime you run across somebody who's into investing in the stock market, I judge it by the information that they give me. Like, if they just start randomly talking, just saying stuff, okay, I know to ignore them. But if they say some of the fundamental stuff, be patient, stick with the plan. That's really what I'm listening for. I'm literally listening for stuff that I've had to learn already, and stuff that Michael Swanson talks about in that book. And he makes a lot of great points. And I got 2 of those on my counter right now. So with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in, checking out the content. I'm about to get up out of here and try something new. Take a walk, go outside, walk around and look, especially if you're somewhere where they have sidewalk. Reset, refresh your mind, and just, you know, get the American way out of your system and just look at life. Because I can tell you, from investing my own money in the stock market, there's times I've had to take a break. There's times I have watched my investment go down 20% and then watched it climb back up. Do you have any idea what that's like? You done invested some money in the market and 20% of it is gone? That's what you got to face when you're looking at investing. There's a rule of 7%. When you lost 7% of your investment, you need to get out of it. I don't remember. I know this stuff is it's somewhere. I know it's on Google if you type it in. Uh, Good investment practices. If you lose 7% of your investment, then you should get out of it. But you can't just keep doing that. Imagine that. You lose if that's your philosophy. If you lose 7% of your investment and you get out of it, you just lost 7%. Okay, then you have two or three good plans that work out, and then another plan where you lose 7%. How many times can you keep doing that? But I get it. It's a way to keep from taking uh, a domino loss. One domino hits another, hits another, hits another, hits another. That's that thing when it comes to your emotions. And I could tell you, this past year, I've been trying to undo some damage that I did myself. And man, it's heart wrenching. So you better be built for this stuff. Because you start messing with it. That's why I say start small, start small, start small. Because if you lose 5% of $1,000, eh, that's easier to face than if you lose 15 or 20%. You start thinking to yourself, like, man, what in the world am I doing? Consistency, be patient, have a plan, learn. So, that being said, I think I have covered enough for this time. Nick, I hope some of this information has helped you. I know I have been long-winded, but hopefully you get some benefit from some of this. Hopefully some of the things that I've already learned and had to learn myself, you can avoid them altogether. Start small. Start with $100. Make 5%. And keep doing it over and over again. And make sure that if you ever get that feeling or that urge of gratification, as if you won something, take a break. Because you're getting into that emotional tied investment part of it. You want to be calculated, cold-blooded. This is where you're going, and this is what you're trying to get. There are plenty of times going up and down when, okay, I was looking for my 5%. I got my 5%, got out of it. Oh, man, it went up another 3, 4%. I could have had that. I stuck with my plan. I was already out. And then the market went down again within like a month or two. So I don't know it all, but I'm definitely interested, and I have no problem learning and listening. I am suspicious and wary of stuff on the internet because internet people and people on YouTube, they're YouTubers. They're trying to make content because they want to make money and they want people to keep watching their stuff. Like, I make videos, and you can look at the type of stuff that I make to tell that I make what I want to make. And especially if it's something that can help somebody, be a benefit to somebody, allow somebody to go, do something with, functional, useful, hell yeah. So holler at y'all later, man. I'm out of here.